So I can't believe we've waited almost 28 years for 28 years later to come out. Now, I had high hopes for this movie because the director Danny Boyle and the writer Alex Garland are coming back for this film. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if they're both coming back, that means this movie is going to be just as great as the first one that they made. But unfortunately, that wasn't entirely the case. Now, at this point, there is still no cure for the rage virus, but most of the virus was already killed off by this point in Europe. But the UK is still a quarantine zone, and I guess the rest of Europe just gave up on it, so it's like left to fend off on its own. Now, most of the plot is set in Holy Island, which is a small island in northern England. I looked that up. Now, the movie itself revolves around a family. We have a boy named Spike, his dad Jamie, and his mom Isla, who's like sick with an unknown sickness. Now, the island itself, it's like attached by this walkway bridge that connects to the mainland of the UK. And the dad Jamie, he decides to take his son out to the mainland because he wants to teach his son like survival skills and how to kill a lot of the infected. Now, as soon as he takes his son to the mainland, like the action just automatically takes off. They're already chased by like a shit ton of the infected. That's pretty much the story for like the first half an hour of the movie. Now, after 2 decades, the zombies themselves, they kind of evolved as well, because we have this new zombie called the Alpha. He's like a bigger, faster, and stronger version compared to the rest of the zombies, and he pretty much tells the other zombies like what to do. Now, the action of the movie is pretty much what you would expect from this series. You just have like a bunch of infected just chasing after the survivors, but this time with the Alpha zombie, it increases the intensity of the action. I'm gonna be completely honest though, the plot itself, I didn't like it because Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays the dad, he was like barely in the movie. I think he was in the film for like maybe half an hour of screen time. And in the second half of the movie, the boy takes his mom to the mainland because he's trying to look for this doctor who can possibly help his mom with her sickness. Now, the doctor himself, he's played by the awesome actor Ralph Fiennes. That's essentially all there was to the movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I thought the movie itself was beautifully shot. The setting was gorgeous to look at, especially with all the shots of like the mainland of the UK. But in terms of the plot, I was expecting a lot more. Like, it was just a really boring movie. I was hoping for more of like a 28 Days Later type of style. Like, that movie itself was inside a city, and I thought the infected were a lot more scary in that film. And also the way that this film was shot, because in 28 Days Later, they filmed with digital cameras, which made it work because it just made the whole film itself like very creepy looking. Like, the aesthetic was really creepy, it was really scary. Overall, the first movie had a much more scary vibe and had like this post-apocalyptic feel. Because when I was watching the first movie, I felt like at times I was watching like a found footage horror type of movie. Overall, I thought 28 Years Later was a boring film, I'm not gonna lie. The original is still the best, no question about it. If you've seen the original and even 28 Weeks Later, frankly speaking, you could just skip this new one. I was really disappointed with the story. I was really disappointed that it didn't capture the same scary feeling. If it were me, I would have made the story more about like the father and son. It would have been way better if the son and the dad had like way more scenes together and they fought alongside each other a lot more. That would have been a much better storyline than the shit that we got with this film. In the first film, it was cool because you had Cillian Murphy like teaming up with other survivors against the infected. This movie, it didn't really have much of a survival feel. It was more like about family drama. Like, there was so much more potential they could have done with this film, but they just didn't take advantage of it. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so we waited almost 2 decades for this, and it's not even over because they're making 2 more sequels to this film. And I can't believe I'm suggesting this, but you guys can just skip this film.